I've taken a couple art courses and stuff. Do I look on that Facebook Live? Anyways, right now what's going on up in Calgary, it was kind of funny. I was looking at this, it's called Disposable Red Woman. Now this was, what did he call it? He called it a shock art piece, I think it was. Anyways, this guy named Dustin Running Rabbit. Now, honestly, I looked up Dustin Running Rabbit and I tried to figure out, like, is this guy some established artist? Is he something? And I couldn't find the guy. So maybe this is his coup d'etat, hey, or something like, maybe this is his beginning. Maybe this is his opening. But he done this shock art piece called Disposable Red Woman. And what he did was he laid down, like, it looked like a piece of I don't know, tile on the ground, and he wrapped himself in a white sheet, and he stained the white sheet in blood, and he laid in downtown Calgary, and this was to signify missing and murdered Indigenous women. And this was his shock art piece. So people be walking past him. I watched the video, and people just kind of just walk past him, give him this ugly look, like, what the bloody hell is this? And he's laying there, just this dude, all wrapped in a, like, mummified white sheet with some red viscous liquid over top of him. It was disturbing. So, you know, what I think I can compare it to the Monument of Death. You know, the big old Monument of Death that Nenshi has been talking about lately, right? He's saying that, what's he saying right now? He's saying that it's a public lynch mob, that all the Blackfoot people are basically just, you know, publicly lynching this New York artist because he did some Blackfoot Monument of Death. Anyways, so you got Dustin Running Rabbit, and on the topic of you know, Indigenous shock and all that stuff, I want to talk about this right here. Today, actually, in Scotland, did you know there's some First Nations performers out there that are taking over the Fringe Festival? I'm not lying. This is a guerrilla performance. I'm going to read it to you right here. It's under Article 11. You can check it out on the Facebook page, TukkLive, Fridays 7 to 9 p.m. So 7:30 p.m. tonight at the National Museum of Scotland, an insurgency singing to the stolen bones of Tukk, Damastuit, and Nanosbusset. Nanosbusset. These are names. This is a husband and a wife, Tukks. And if you don't know, the Tukks were an extinct tribe of natives out of Nova Scotia, or Newfoundland, sorry. So tonight there's going to be this guerrilla performance of rematriation at the National Museum of Scotland. It's a takeover of the museum's Friday Fringe takeover. The stolen remains of two Tukk people are stored in the National Museum of Scotland's warehouse in Granton, on the edge of Edinburgh. We believe it is an act of human decency to return these remains to their ancestral homeland, but bureaucratic inhumanity stands in the way. We believe in the power of performance as ceremony and aim to connect these remains to their home continent by honoring them with a performative offering on Friday, August 18th, 2017. With this performance, we lift awareness of the Damastuit and the Nanosbusset, and we urge that the National Museum of Scotland return the Damastuit and the Nanosbusset skulls to Tukk land. The Damastuit died from contracting a colonizer's disease while being unlawfully confined, and the Nanosbusset was murdered by colonizers. When at last they were laid to rest by their own peoples, that rest was intruded upon. In 1828, Scotch-Canadian William Cormack stole the Nanosbusset and the Damastuit skulls and other burial items from the grave they shared with their infant son. He sent them to the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh, where they remain in the storage facility in Granton. Indigenous beliefs are diverse, yet there's wide-reaching consensus that living people's wholeness requires the proper honoring of the dead. Okay, So with that said, they're going out there and they're going to crash this this party that's going on out there at this museum, this huge museum. So also, Article 11 cites the 12th article of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, which states our right to the repatriation of their human remains. For many indigenous peoples, the earth is a woman, our mother. Returning remains and sacred objects to home soil is therefore rematriation. And that's why they're calling this rematriation. So this is actually started by a group of artists, very powerful indigenous artists are collaborating. That's Santee Smith, Samaya Smith, Lee Miracle, Andy Morrow, Tara Began, and they're all right now at the National Museum in Scotland. Right now, they're singing to the Masdwit and Anasbasit's bones, and they're hoping that this will lead to the they call it rematriation, basically taking them back and bringing them to Tukk territory. So send them your prayers, ladies and gentlemen. That's Andy Morrow and Tara Began. You can look them up on our page, TukkLive, Fridays, 7 to 9 p.m. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, up next, without further ado, I got Curtis Clear Sky and his love up here in the booth. So give us a few seconds. We're going to play a little bit of music for you. So in the meantime, and in between time, before we get into a little bit of more talking, I want to play some music for you. Right now, I'm going to play you some. What do we got here? Taking a look. How about we play some Bad from the TWK, yours truly. Here we go. What's up, TukkLive? Oh, hey. Okay. Yo, Facebook, this is Curtis right here.
Hello, family. Hello, relatives. Hello, community.
Yes, baby. Hey, baby. How you doing?
It's Kenny Nelson. It's Gaio.
Gaio. Hey, Gaio. You got the donuts going. I got the coffee going.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
It's my wife, Tia.
Hey, you don't have to listen. We're just Facebook live right now, actually.
You come in? No, come on. Come on. Yeah, all right.
So, what do we want to talk about? I think I'm going to go through a little bit of we'll do some 5 W's of Curtis Clear Sky.
Okay.
We'll do some inspirations, recent projects.
Cool.
And let's talk about tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe you got anything online I can play?
You know what? No, other than what I sent you. No, I have an older song. It's actually it's on YouTube. An older song. It's called Non-Fictional.
Non-fictional.
It's a bit older.
Did you guys you drove all this way?
We just arrived.
Yes. That was Craig, and they're driving 18 hours, TukkLive.
Made it.
What's it under?
Non-fictional. Let's see if it comes up. Fictional. And then say Kaya. Try that out. Let's see what happens. It's a bit of an older one, but still good.
Yeah, as soon as you're on the side, a whole bunch of programs open.
Oh, man. Like it.
What about your name?
How about, you know what? Just keep, you know what? After, and then, that's an older one. If you scroll down, let's see what you got. if you also type in dignified
after Clear Sky.
Yeah.
There's some.
Not that one. That's a really old one. You know what? Shoot.
How about we just freestyle?
You know what? Let me come up. Okay, add this in. Remy. And then Devries. DEVRIES. There it is. The second one down, sorry.
Oh, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Fixed.
That's it.
This is This is some old Blood Red Crew Savage Indian back when I was young and handsome. Thanks for joining us, Tukk Live, www.JessFM. I know it's a little bit boring right now, but we're getting ready. Yeah, I'm gonna take my clothes off at the end of the interview. After Curtis,
I'm out of here.
Yeah, after you leave, let me take my clothes off. Tukk Live. Stay tuned. Tuck's nibbles. That's what we do. We do
Don't start that.
Stay out of here. You don't know about this. Now we got Geetiki on like a couple of weeks ago. My mom, she went to a wicked thing with Alberta Health Services.
Yeah, seen that.
Yeah, they had her on. She just rocked. It's almost made me cry.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Yeah, they got busted, huh?
Two of them got fired.
Yeah. Same with the receiver of the text. The original intendee, yeah. It's good. It's really good.
Well, yeah, and we were following the Camel Capo thing. The guy that got dragged out of Canadian Tire at least too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I even chatted with him, man. So can I talk about you? And he was like, and I've been following now. The guy just like, he's relentless when it comes to like Indigenous rights and stuff. Man.
Yeah.
I don't think those guys maybe were fucking with him. They dragged him out of the store. Hey? He dragged out the wrong native.
That's good.
He went national.
It's meant to be.
Oh, definitely. What?
Sorry, my lens isn't very wide.
All right, I think we're ready. You ready?
Okay.
Your headset's ready.
Okay.
All right, check. Microphone check. 1, 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, this is the TUKK. You are listening to at Tukk Live, Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on www.JessFM.ca. What the bloody hell is that? Okay, my bad. Yeah, sounds all right. So we got into the studio today. I'm actually excited. We got Curtis Clear Sky up in the studio. Curtis, what we're going to do here is we're going to get to know a little bit about Curtis. How's that?
Great.
That sound good?
Great.
All right, so how about the 5 W's? Who's Curtis Clear Sky? Let's talk with who.
Okay. First of all, brother, thank you, Tukk, Carl Brave Rock here, family, everybody that's involved in doing this great show. Thank you for having me today. Just acknowledgement to community, family, all the Niti to be out there, to listening. It's really great. So who am I? Curtis Clear Sky. My mother is from Kainai, Blood Reserve. Wilma Chief Moon, Wilma Soup. Grandfather is the late Tommy Soup. Grandmother is the late Mona Chief Moon.
Yeah.
My father is Anishinaabe from back east, Manitoba. Yeah. So mixed brother here, and I grew up in Vancouver, a beautiful Coast Salish territory, and always blessed to come home whenever I get a chance to come back home, come here, and just connect with the family, and come back to the community now to celebrate my relatives' lives. Last year, we lost my Uncle Fritz Chief Moon, as well as my cousin Jimmy Shaw, both sides. Come on back on over from Vancouver this weekend to celebrate their lives. And our family's having a gathering music festival for them. And
Right, yeah, that's tomorrow night out in the Burn Community Hall, so check that out, Blood Tribe. Yeah, we'll get a little bit, I want to get a little bit more into that later. So who, now we know who you are. You're a musician, right? You're a singer, you're a rapper.
Yes. Artist, creator. Thankful for all the opportunities and gifts that I've ever received to do music, and it's been a blessing to be able to work with it and share perspectives. And for me, healing. Music has been a real healing tool for me to be able to share my perspective, to process things throughout life, especially as a youth and coming into my older life. It's been a real blessing to be able to be involved in music.
Right. So you stay in Vancouver now? Is that where you come from?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Right, yeah. He drove 18 hours to be on TukkLive
That's right.
tonight.
That's the first place up there.
Ta-da! Do people still say that? Ta-da? I think that's back 2003 back then. So who, what, where, what's next? When?
Okay.
So what do we say about when?
When? Okay, well, I'm here now with the relatives of this generation. And, we're here. In a healing state of time. A lot going on in the world, of course. For us, Indigenous peoples here in our territory and around the world, we are all healing. Of course, there's a lot going on in the bigger macro picture. And there's a lot going on for us in our own communities. And we're dealing with the impacts of colonization, of course, right now. And, and the music has been when. So what's happening for me now is, it's happening now.
No, definitely. There's a lot happening. But I know I've been just twisted about what's been going on in the world today. TukkLive, it stresses me out looking at the world. So I think we know about the why y'all here, right? Tell me about some inspirations. Like, why did you? I think you touched on it a little bit. Like life struggles. But why did you get into music? Is there any certain inspirations that when you were younger, you heard that made you want to get into hip hop?
Yeah, well, all kinds of hip hop, of course. Always open to, listening to whatever was out there as a young person and hearing, the great words that are being shared, recognizing it as a tool of inspiration for young people and using that tool to promote progress. For me, when I was younger, actually, I got invited to an acting camp, theater camp, when I was about 15. And that was...
Where was that?
In Vancouver, and based out of a Native organization. Great guy, Bob Manning. He, created a lot of these different sort of theater acting camps for young people, based out from California, and it got me into it and got me on the stage. I never really got into acting, but I definitely like performing music, and so that kind of opened up the door ever since, and just developing and coming into it as a more mature person and taking it a little more serious. So I've been playing music, playing hip hop music, live music for the past 10, 15 years. Right. I had a bit of a hiatus after I married my wife and we had some kids. I just took a break from music, but it's always been a blessing and opening doors. So that's why I'm back at it.
That's beautiful. Well, it's music. I create music to myself. I've been here for about 15 years. Hip hop music. It's fickle. It's changing. It's always changing. It morphs. As a grown man too, you grow into different feelings, emotions, and thoughts, and things happen in the world that influence your music, right?
Definitely.
So whereas you may be doing all this, like when I started, I did a lot of drug, alcohol, swearing, cussing type stuff. Right?
Same here.
Yeah, and then I realized there's kind of I can't do that anymore. Yeah. As I've grown, been 15 years into the music industry, and I kind of want nowadays. I think it's more about feeling the music. Yeah. And whereas back then it was about impressing the audience for me. Nowadays I kind of I'm doing it for myself. Yeah. It's not for the audience. What do you do for it now? You touched on it a bit. Yeah. Definitely. I think for me, of course, hearing, some really positive stuff, but also, of course, hip-hop's got a negative side to it as well. And loving, of course, being a young person, loving gangster rap. The Snoop Dogg's and the Tupacs and all that. Well, there's a stereotype against rappers, right?
Yeah, and there is. But at the same time, there's also the other side of it, where people have used it in a really great way. And, for me, it's like... as I grow older, and in mainstream hip hop, the corporations have got complete control on it, and they're limiting what really should be out there. And the community-based work, wherever it's coming from reservations all over the place to other community places, the real voices of the people aren't really getting heard. And hip hop is still a tool, and it's still a powerful culture for young people to use. And I think that's it. As a young person, that's what it was for me, and it still is. But I'm also growing as a man, and growing, and it's also, for me, it's like been evolving. Hip hop, I think, can be for older people, and it's just not the same as it used to be. I'm just coming at it with a more mature approach.
Right. Well, hip hop is really the last true American art form. I don't think there's been another musical genre that's been created after hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that grew up with hip hop, say in the late '80s, it started in the '70s, right, Brooklyn. But moving on to like our generation, to the '80s and '90s, that generation's grown up. We're parents now, right? Some of us are even grandparents now. So you got like rapping grannies and rapping grandpas out there right nowadays. So it's just like hip hop's growing up with the community. It's becoming a little bit more acceptable nowadays, right? So I got a little bit more for you. So let's talk about like what you doing tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow?
So this is, as I mentioned before, the celebration of life for Fritz Chief Moon, my uncle, and Jimmy Shot Both Sides, who we lost last year, basically in a really short timeline. So it's been really devastating. Fritz. Yeah, Fritz. Yeah, Uncle Fritz. So yeah, it was a real short time. We lost them both, and it's been real devastating for our family. And we want to celebrate them and through music and inspiration.
Well, why the celebration with music?
Well, looking at cousin Jimmy, a lot of people knew him.
I knew him.
Yeah. And he's just a social guy, and for, with the music, when I first came with the music, I came back home like over 10, 12 years ago with one of my first albums I ever made. And I brought it home and, wanted to share it with the cousins. And the first person I shared it with, and the person he was most excited about it, was Jimmy. And he was really supportive guy about whatever you're doing, always happy, to know what you're doing in a positive way. And the first thing he did, he's we got to get this to the radio station. So he brought us over to LA Star there.
Oh, Last Star, 89.9.
Yeah. He brought us over.
Shout out, Tony.
Yeah. He brought us over, and he's like, let's play it. And he got Tony to played it, and he was really excited. And not only that, he's a musician himself.
He was a guitar player.
Yeah.
Lead guitars, heavy metal. Right?
Yeah. So he was really supportive of the music and the arts as a musician himself. Uncle Fritz as well, very massively spiritual, and just a really amazing gift of a person that he was, and really inspired me as well as a young person through music and all of our young people and relatives. So yeah, I think it's just recognizing them in a really great way and sharing the music.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
Fritz, he played guitar as well, right?
You know what? He probably did. I never see him pick up.
Did he sing with the gospel bands?
He definitely was into the gospel.
Yeah, because I know a lot of the Chiefman family up there do the gospel music.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a little bit of a break right now. We got a track right here. It's called Non-Fictional. Curtis, you want to introduce this track?
This is some older work. Jimmy loved this. He loved it. And this is that part of that album that I first shared.
All right, sounds good. You're listening to www.JessFM.ca at TukkLive, Fridays 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
You're doing good. You're getting some feedback here.
All right.
Hey, you're live. Hey, Curtis, rap something. Mama Chief Moon, great auntie. Carl's great auntie. Mama Chief Moon.
Oh, yeah.
That's my dad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's get him rapping. Who's your biggest inspiration? Artists should promote their lyrics. What's your advice for you? Who wants you to gospel or rap? Some gospel rap.
Yeah.
Let's do some Jesus piece. All right, excellent. All right, we're wear the cutout for a minute here. No, let's not cut. Let's keep it live. Let's keep it live. All right. I'm going to have to go off camera for this.
Okay.
Oh, good, man. I love it. So, now what I want to do is I want to talk about an issue with you, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of shit going on right now. What I've been talking about for most of the show is that the white supremacist movement that's going on, or that it was on the 7th, on the 11th, right, in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
You know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Like, just throw some stuff at you. Tiki torches, Peters Vitanovich, armed militia, Tina Fey, monument tipping, Trump, Heather Heyer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the girl that got run over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Get your mind rolling.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And, the problem with the tiki torches is that they're all bought at Dollarama. That's the real problem. You got Peters Vitanovich. He's the one in that photo, that infamous photo. He's trying to say, I'm not an angry racist.
Right. Yeah.
He's like really hollering at them, right? Armed militias, they're not just marching now like with tiki torches anymore. They're marching with armed militias. And Tina Fey said that there's 218 armed militias ready to mobilize any second or any minute you want to.
Yeah.
Tina Fey, did you watch her?
I did, actually. I did.
Yeah, I played it earlier. She brought up Standing Rock.
Yeah. Good.
The monument tipping, the stuff that's going on with the monuments.
Yeah. Where's the nearest monument around here?
Nicholas Sharon. Nicholas Sharon. There's just a bunch of oil guys. Oh, Red Crow. Red Crow.
We better go guard it.
Protect that one.
Really get a bunch of white supremacists come tipping the Red Crow. Oh, you mother lovers.
No, I heard you talking about that. The Abraham Lincoln one, yeah. And the 38 Lakota, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those things need to be talked about, for sure.
Well, people kiss Abraham Lincoln's ass.
They do, especially, he gets credit for emancipating slavery, and I think you mentioned it, he used to coin the term freeman.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different from the reality of what it really is.
It was status, it's like our Indian status. You didn't exactly free us, you just gave us a status, which is, I don't know if that's freedom or what.
Yeah.
Freedom, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it was freedom, he'd get on the boat and he'd go back to Europe.
Well, I've been reading I've been reading this book called American, what's it called again? Oh, Medical Apartheid. And it's about how the Americans throughout the 17 and 1800s used to do medical experiments on all the black people, right? Through all those years. And, I don't know where I'm going with that, but oh my God, I'm just so appalled with history right now.
Yeah. No, it's good. And it's really good that you're here speaking about it.
Well, I want to bring up this stuff. I know we kind of joke around about it here and there, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking nice place.
Got to speak to these things.
Gospel rap. All right, they want you to rap. Are you going to freestyle for me?
Yeah.
I got some rats.
Yeah.
Well, we'll save that for the end. Okay. Let's get into this standing rap.
All right.
Yo, check. Microphone check. Is there anybody there? You're listening to Tukk Live Fridays, 7 to 9 p.m. Yes, we are. Facebook Live as well. I'm sitting in here in the booth with Curtis Clear Sky. Drove 18 hours just to be on Tukk Live tonight. Sure glad you're here. So what we've been talking about is this whole Charlottesville, Virginia, right? Friday, August 11th. I don't know if you've heard about this, have you?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I don't know if you've
How could you not?
Yeah. So I got a couple of questions about you. Let's talk about tiki torches.
Yeah.
What do you think about tiki torches?
Man, yeah. Well, as you mentioned, Dollarama.
There's an advertisement from Dollarama about these guys not to use these tiki torches. They're just supposed to be for barbecues and stuff. They're really pretty.
Yeah.
Now I'm scared to go buy a tiki torch.
Exactly.
I'm trying to start a barbecue.
Exactly.
I need 16 tiki torches. I'm like, no, you can't, but we're brown, bro.
Exactly.
So anyways, tiki torches.
Tiki torches, yeah. Well, they're Polynesian based, right?
I
and
did not know.
yeah, they're Polynesian based, and
know.
they're a cultural appropriation.
Oh my goodness! Look at that! Hey, look
So,
at this guy.
They're a cultural appropriation,
Yeah.
but they're also probably made in China. And they talk about that, you know. I'm not the first to mention it, but of course, like these white supremacists who claim they're the master race, you know, can't even put together their own torches.
Like the original Ku Klux Klan, how did they make their torches? They couldn't look that up. I mean, there must be a Google how-to on how to make your own KKK torches. Y'all got to go to Dollarama.
Yeah, so, man.
Yeah. Those are some excellent points, eh? Cultural appropriation. Those are Polynesians. Bloody hell, guys. All right, so Peter Zavitjanovic. I'm not sure if I'm saying it. The guy in the pretty photo when he looks like this. What do you think about him?
Well, you know, he took the risk to stand for what he believes, which is, I think, a very unhealthy perspective. And he went out there and he put himself out there, and now he's dealing with it. He's got to be held accountable. Like all of those people should be held accountable. And there's a lot of people who hold those views who don't show their faces like that. And this is what happens. And it's a cleansing. This is a cleansing. Oh my goodness. This is a cleansing.
Yeah. Well, I know it's like people are really showing themselves right now. You know, people are.
It's good and bad.
Yeah.
Good and bad. It's good. Well, it's bad because of what they're doing. As you mentioned, Heather Heyer, you know, she died as a result of one of their actions, right?
Yeah, I don't want to mention the guy's name, but the guy just he drove a vehicle right into a whole pile of. They were protesting the protest. Well, it was the white nationalists were protesting, right? And there was a actual protest to protest that protest, which were they called the alt-left, alt-right, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, this guy runs his vehicle into them and kills Heather Heyer.
Yeah.
This white girl who was protesting against the neo-Nazis and supremacists.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that she died. It's really sad that she died. But if you look at the bigger picture, how many other people have died as a result of this white supremacy through history? And it's a massive amount of people, right? Including our people, of course, African Americans, other people of color around the world have died at the hands of white supremacy, sadly. And it's very sad that that's happened to her as well. And that's, you know, what we deal with on a regular basis. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. It's a cleansing. It's a cleansing going on. That's the thing. Trump has brought out that opportunity for those people to feel like they want to share their voices around this thing.
You know what? Also, like even like after this whole white nationalist, white supremacist rally, there was a huge backlash, right? Like right onto the Saturday Night Live alum coming out. There's this big backlash, and you know what? Honestly, I think a lot of the racists are like, you know what? Maybe we should just go back home and be racists in our living room again.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there's good and bad to that. The bad is that we don't know their views. But the good is probably people aren't going to get killed. But there's a subtlety of racism. And the subtleties are always, you know, little things that we always can't pinpoint whatever it is, whether it's the racial profiling, whether it's the following us around the stores, getting kicked out of Canadian Tire, getting pulled over by the police, all the racial, not getting a loan at the bank, whatever it is. All those challenges that we face, not getting a place to rent, all these challenges that we face are these racial discriminations.
I hear you. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint racism sometimes, right? Because you don't know if someone's just having a bad day. The cashier at the store didn't say hello to you. Is that racism? No. But
she says hello to the next
guy. The person before you. I said real good hello to the white girl before you, and then you step up and like,
yeah. Cold face. Yeah.
I get that all the time.
And they really have you after you.
Just over here though, just an example. Before I started the show, this studio is just down the street from Lethbridge Center. If y'all been downtown Lethbridge, right there outside the bank, they had this woman handcuffed. This in her early 50s Native woman. You know, she's handcuffed behind her back, sitting on the rock, and there's 4 policemen. These are big guys. Like these guys are huge. And there's 4 of them. They got 2 panels and a third one just cruising by. And I'm just like, bloody hell, like, what did she do? So me and my girlfriend go walking around there. We're just going to walk over there. We're just going to stand there and watch. So we did. We went there and we stood there, and immediately the cop notices us, right? And he looks at us and he says, what you guys doing? What are you standing there for? And I told him, we're allowed to stand here, aren't we? And he said, of course you're allowed to stand there. And then he takes a second to think to himself and he walks over and he says, you know what? He says, you're on private property. We're just standing there. We hadn't said nothing. He said, you're on private property and you can't be standing here. My girlfriend says to him, she says, we're not doing anything. And the guy looked at her, the big old white cop looked at her and he said, are you being cute with me? And I was like shocked. I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, did he just say, are you being cute to me? And the cop was like standing right here breathing down my mohawk, right? Because he was that big. Yeah. And then he was like, no, you guys can't stand here. You're being antagonistic. And we were just shocked. We smiled and we walked away. And as we were walking away, the cop was telling us, keep walking, keep going. And I'm not lying. That was just right before the show started, right down here. The guy he was ready to arrest us. Yeah. He was saying we were being antagonistic while there's 4 big giant cops, 1 little tiny 51, 52-year-old Native woman handcuffed, surrounded. Like, is that racism?
Absolutely.
That's what I think, man. You could have handled that a lot differently. They had their lights going off, Like, you know what? I made the joke. It was my back. So when I came around the corner, I told him, did someone rob the bank? I think that's where I went wrong. But yeah, that was racist.
Yeah, that's it. And it's us coming together, growing, healing as indigenous peoples. We're here at home, wherever we are throughout the world as indigenous peoples, people of color. It's growing. It's the healing from all the impacts of colonization and bringing back our cultural values that often are usually contrary to this colonial system that we're living in. And there's a lot of healing in our culture. And that's what we got to do, is bring the healing.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's 8:51. I just want to say thank you to Curtis right here. What we're going to do is we got some, she stole a bike. Dallas Hoof is saying, what did this Native woman do? She stole a bike, and they had the bike standing right beside her. It was sitting right there. So it's kind of like, do you need, 4 officers and all of that just to get a bike back? And I don't know. Yeah, Dallas was asking, what did this Native woman do? She stole a bike, and the bike was.
They should have put her in the panel at least.
Yeah, they should have put her in a panel. They didn't need the lights blowing, like 2 panels, a third one cruising by, 4 officers. 2 of them are like 7 feet tall. Like, okay, I understand she committed a crime, but you don't need to do all that. Yeah. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna kick a freestyle for all y'all. So it's Curtis Clear Sky. That's the TUKK, so I'm just going to look for a beat here. What do we got here? I'm just going to slap something on, all right? Let's see what we got. Just tell me if you like it or if you don't. Check. Is this one? All right, bro, you got the first 16. Go.
Okay. Yeah. Shout outs to all the elders, all the culturally focused relatives, bringing that healing. Armageddon's in your life, chaos on the rise. Armageddon's in your life, chaos on the rise. Will you live or die? Natural disaster. Time of moving faster. Time to capture the soldier's master. Use his own blaster, the paper, the pen. No time to pretend. Climb on in, warrior mode. It's time to expose the truth and behold. The proof is told to the youth who hold ambition. Listen, revolution mission. Death is a given, so fight for the life that you're living. Inventory goods, organize your hoods. Feed the food to the children and the women. The circle is a spinning, natural balance.
Yeah, that's Curtis Clear Sky. I'm a freestyle for TUKK. Yeah, we keep it real. Yo, we only steal bikes. Yeah, go ahead. Get the cops. Yo, I'ma kick it like a real native should be. That's right, I'm from the fucking R-E-Z. I keep it real and I got the real flow. Go ahead, keep your own goddamn sorrow. From the top to the bottom, that's right. I'm the rotten, I'm the wicked, I'm the wrong. I will write me a song just about you. Tell you all about you. Tell you about the crew, how we do, how we fucking live this life too. Yo, I don't know where I'm gonna be, don't plan for tomorrow, you know, it's me, the T-double-K. I don't got time to play, this ain't a game, y'all, you saying this a game, I ain't playing this ain't a game, this is a real, what, now you're fucking messing with the redskin, man of steel, oh, yeah, just another savage Indian. Yeah. Freestyle, baby.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's all yours, Kurt.
Kick it. Here we go.
Yeah, keep going. I'm on 16. We got 5 minutes. Okay.
You can colonize the mind, but not the soul. Looking for directions where you gonna go. Are you gonna follow? Are you gonna lead? Inciting to these thoughts is how you see. Deceiving for the wicked or you're fighting for the righteous. It's one or the other. I know you might not like it. It's the brothers and the sisters and the children and the elders. Listen for a moment and they're guaranteed to tell you it's the passing of the knowledge and the sharing of the wisdom. Open up your mind, escape from mental prison. I'm gonna take my time, gonna do it right. I'm gonna take my time, gonna do it right. Kick it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just want to thank Curtis Clear Sky. Yo, peace, love, fried bread, grease, all that. Yo, thanks for coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you got to go check out the Smokehouse. There's a show going on tonight. Lots of good native hip-hop for you. Thank you for tuning in to Tukk Live at JessFM. Well, Tukk Live. Listen to www.JessFM every single night. Honestly, don't know how to stop this music, so. Yo, I just want to say thank y'all for listening tonight, and we're going to head off the air with, this is a song called The Res Needs a Superhero. This is by Brandon Eagleplume. He's going to be performing tonight at the Smokehouse, so go check that out. I think it's $7 at the door. You can catch one of the rappers outside. You pay $5. So The Res Needs a Superhero. This is actually about Gato Yes. If you don't know about Gato Yes, that means blood clot. Go look it up. Go ask your elders. Blackfoot Warrior, we call him the Blackfoot Hercules. So here it is. The Res Needs a Superhero. Yeah. Brandon Eagleplume. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you.